Hello guys, once again this is Dikaos1 here, bringing you game number 4 of my Quest for Gold League. Now this will be a ZVP on Antiga Shipyard, and my opponent will be in the bottom left position, and his name is RPD Police, and he is the Protoss player, the red Protoss, and I will be in the top position as Sharp Teeth playing as the Zerg. So as this game gets started here, I just want to let you guys know that I'm getting up in my ladder pretty fast. I'm not having too many troubles, so this might be a short series. And so yeah, so I'm probably going to end up going for my quest of platinum afterwards once I get into gold. You can see I do send my Overlord Scout in the wrong position, but that's alright. I should be sending a worker out any second now to go scout for my opponent's base. I usually like to do it around the 12-13 supply. Look down here, the Protoss player is going for a Forge Expand. He's going to go for that Fast Expand in his natural, which is very common on Antiga Shipyard here because it's really easy to defend this front ramp. It's not really that big, plus there's lots of room for your stalkers. Lots of room for cannons right in the front there. Makes for a really good defending position. I'm going for my own 14 hatch here. The probe does scout it. He sees exactly what's going on, but that's alright. He's getting a bit of scouting information in. I haven't sent my drone out yet. Oh, there he is now. He's going a little bit late, but that's alright. I get my pool. Now, normally when I go for a Fast Expand, or for a 14 hatch or whatever, I generally like to get my pool at about 15. I end up waiting till 16 supply, which is a bit of a blunder on my part, but it actually worked out to be pretty good, as you will see later on. Immediately I get that gas going, because I want to be able to get them speedlings as soon as possible. Because honestly, regular Zerglings are the absolute worst unit in the game without speed. They're completely useless. Stalkers are faster than them, and Stalkers are, well, Speedlings, sorry, counter Stalkers relatively well, but just regular Zerglings really they just don't cut it. Especially when you're playing against a Protoss, or even a Terran player with stimming Marines and Marauders. You can really just tear apart your force if you don't have speedlings. You can see my little drone transfer here going down to my natural. I do have queens on production. Of course, the second that pool pops, I save up my minerals, sorry, for those queens, because queens are extremely important in a ZVP, ZVZ, ZV, everything. Just queens. You gotta have the queens. Now my partner here, or my opponent, sorry, he went 4-gate. I don't know really what he was doing. He made it look like he was going for a Forge Fast Expand, but he ended up getting 4 gates and his Cybernetics Core before even starting his Nexus, which is odd, but you know, that's okay. I'm not going to complain. I won the game. My speedlings, or my metabolic boost, is on its way. Very important to get that, as I just explained. I do throw Roach Warren down. I generally like to do this. Roaches are amazing in everything. They do a lot of damage. They can take a lot of damage. They're kind of slow at first, especially if you don't have your Roach speed upgraded. That's alright. You see, I do have this spine crawler down on my natural here. Lately, this is what I've been doing. I've been putting a spine crawler down along with my 1 queen and just some Zerglings to hold off any sort of Zealot Stalker kind of timing push. I get my Evo chamber down. I should be starting my upgrades very shortly for that. Yep, there we go. Got my ranged upgrade, level 1 range upgrade. Now you can see I'm getting a little bit oversaturated here. Oh, and there we go. Just throwing down gas. I do end up taking out that probe, scouting probe. Doesn't see too much of my base. He sees, I don't know, pretty standard. Nothing really too important. But this is pretty key right here. I was able to actually hide a drone right here. So later on in the game, rather than using an overlord, which I am also positioning down here, rather than using an overlord and possibly supply blocking myself, this way I can just run the probe in or the drone in and see what's going on. But my opponent, he does build a lot of photon cannons. You would think that he would put a couple of these down here, maybe not have some of these gates in his main, but instead he decided to throw those cannons up there in case of a meter harass, which at this point in time I'm not getting any mutalisks. See, right now I'm just building up a bit of a force. I see I'm decently saturated in both my bases. I have an excess amount of gas. I need to kind of get rid of it. So that's why I'm just building some roaches, getting my upgrades going. Level 1's just about done here. I didn't make any more static defense, really, aside from that one spine crawler. And if we look at the units tab here, all he has are these 4 sentries. And he's not going to push out with 4 sentries. I would be extremely surprised if he did, because he's definitely not going to. He's going to use those 4 sentries to wall off his ramp here in case I decide to do a roach push or something. I do have my 3rd queen out, starting some creep spread, getting that going. Super important. Especially, I find playing as Terran, it's really important to get those extra queens out just in case he decides to go Banshees, which is very common in ZVT. And Banshees are kind of tough to defend against with just spore crawlers, even though they can move around. That's why it's good to have a couple extra queens out, and a couple observers. See, I just got my layer tech now. It's just finishing. I didn't make any observers, mind you. Now, decent saturation in both my bases here. I've got an alright force at my base. You know, I should actually have probably taken my 3rd right here. And that's one thing I really like about this map, is if they try to go in the front door and you have your 3rd base, it can be really easy to defend. Excuse me. See, he's got an observer, just seeing what's going on. I do have the 2nd evolution chamber down, getting some extra upgrades. He still only has the 1 forge. He's only gotten his +1 attack upgrades. Oh, never mind. He's just starting now his armor upgrades for his units. He's okay. So if you guys look at his natural, it's not saturated pretty much whatsoever. And this is a huge mistake that Protoss players been doing. He has all this extra minerals and all this gas. Oh, excuse me again. Sorry. He's all the minerals and all the gas. He really shouldn't be buying more stalkers. He should be training probes. He should be getting this saturated, starting up on this 2 gas, getting both his gas down here, which he's doing that now, which is very good. But he definitely should have had this area much more saturated and his expansion ready to go much earlier on. I do have a surplus of minerals and gas at this point with my 2 bases running at pretty much full capacity. Wow, excuse me. I am getting double upgrades at a time now, which is super key. I am 1-1 on my roaches. Not quite 1-1 on my zerglings yet. And my 3rd expansion is going down. Now, if you look at my production tab, it's coming along really well. I'm trying really hard at this point in the game just to build whatever I can, anything that will possibly help me, just to keep my income down. Because if you have a giant surplus of minerals and gas, you're going to end up getting behind. So it's really important to just spend it, even if you're not going to use it. Like, I threw down this Hydralisk den, probably not going to use Hydras. I did throw down a Spire, and as you can see, I am getting Mutalisks, but I don't end up using Mutalisks as much as I might like to, because as you can see, he's got 5 photon cannons in his main, guarding that mineral line. Only 1 in his natural. Sorry, He has 5 at his natural now, and loads of stalkers. So it's basically, I'm gonna come in there, I'm gonna see this, and I'm gonna say, all right, I'm definitely not going meterless anymore. Not worth it. And back to just spending minerals, spending your gas. I am getting the Hydralisk range upgrade, which again, I really don't need. I don't have any intentions on getting Hydralisks. I'm just getting it just to be safe. Now if you look at his force here, he does have only 1 immortal, which is a huge mistake. If you're going up against a Zerg player and you have your observer in his base and you see lots of roaches, you want more immortals. Immortals destroy roaches. This part of the game's a little bit slow, so I'm just going to speed it up just a little bit. You see his army. Okay, so his army is moving out here. He moves out with his force of mainly stalkers, a bunch of sentries, sorry, and the 1 immortal. Now I get a decent surround on him. It could be a little bit better. He gets some nice force fields. He's splitting my army up, which is very good. But my roaches at 2/2 upgrades are just eating his stalkers and absolutely destroying everything. The Zerglings sat there. They took all the damage. I am going to be able to snipe this immortal, which is really key because immortals are expensive, but they're just so good. And I do have my 3rd base out, but I'm not actually saturating it. Huge mistake. Instead, I just build roaches. But I'm almost supply blocked anyways. Wasn't a very good for me. Alright, again, this part's kind of slow, so I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. See, constantly producing things. Always producing, never stopping. My Protoss player did have a bit of a lull there, a little bit. Then this is where I do make my counter attack. I should have made it a lot earlier on. I had enough roaches, but I just wanted to be safe because I can't begin to explain to you how many times I've went for a counterattack and lost the game because of it. So you can see here my roaches are just doing absolutely phenomenal. 2/2 upgrades versus his 1/1, but he does have a lot of cannons in his base. My Mutalisks doing absolutely nothing, just sitting there collecting dust like an old prize trophy. Meanwhile, my roaches are in here just doing a lot of work. I do have 31 roaches on the field right now, but I don't have nearly that many here, and instead of rallying them to these roaches, which is what I should have done, I just rallied them up here, which is a bit of a waste for me. I almost have 3 armor done and +2 melee attacks. My hive obviously is complete, which allows me to get my +3 weapons. I do have a macro hatch, which I don't have hotkeyed at this time, and I don't have it working to its full potential. I do have this queen down here. Really should be up here, saturating and injecting on that macro hatch. He is trying to do a little bit of harass with these stalkers. Can't really do too much against my 2/2 versus his 1/1. I finally get my Mutalisk in here. I take out the expand. So there's no way. He's really far behind right now. He's producing there. He gets 1 Colossus out, and just look at how much damage he ends up doing with the Colossus. I have a fair bit of roaches and these Mutalisks. Now, I made the mistake. I didn't get all of my roaches in there at the same time, which is really what I should have done. Now at this point, I'm getting my roaches in here. My Mutalisks are focusing down this Colossus, taking it out. My roaches are left high, or his stalkers left high and dry, and my roaches, my Mutalisks, just clean the mess up, taking out the pylons, forcing him to not be able to create anything more, and that is game. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.